Today, I'm going to answer a question I got from a pre-nursing student about what questions should she ask when uh, choosing a nursing program to apply to, and if she gets accepted, to think about. So I have three major things that you should definitely be asking about and thinking about that you might not know to ask about before this video. So first of all, let me tell you read the question. She said, I'm looking into nursing programs and they all look the same to me. What questions do you think is necessary to ask when I meet with the schools? What are the small details that I should pay attention to? So the first thing that I think is important is to look at NCLEX pass rates. And this is something easy to do. You can look it up on your state board of nursing. It should be publicly available for all of the nursing schools in your state. And you can see what their pass rate is. And this is going to be for first time pass rate. So that means that if 100 people graduate and they take the NCLEX the first time and 90% of them pass, then they have a 90% pass rate. So that's important to know because obviously you want to go to a school that's adequately preparing students to pass NCLEX, since you can't become a nurse, even if you pay all that money, even if you go all the way through school, you can't become a nurse if you don't pass the NCLEX. However, it's also important to know that there's kind of a self-selection process. And this is where the hidden question that you should also ask comes in, because NCLEX pass rates are required in order to stay in good status as a nursing school and to stay accredited as a nursing school. So if their pass rates start dropping, they're going to lose their accreditation, and then they won't be on that list anymore. Okay, they won't have a nursing program anymore. So what you also want to ask is, does this school have exit exams? And if so, see if you can get an idea of what their pass rate for their exit exams are. Now, this does not have to be public information. Okay, this is very school dependent. So it's something you would have to ask, and they may or may not be able to share that information with you. So let me tell you what exit exams are real quick and why they're important, why nursing schools use them sometimes. So an exit exam is an exam that they give you at the end of your class or even at the end of your whole program. Two common exit exams are HESI and ATI. And what they'll do is they'll say, even if you passed all of your nursing classes, if you don't pass this standardized exit exam, you cannot graduate. Okay. Now that helps the nursing school, because if you don't pass, the exit exams are very good predictors of whether you will pass the NCLEX. If you do pass the exit exam, then there's a high probability you will pass NCLEX first time. If you fail the exit exam, you might still pass NCLEX, but it's a lower probability. And so a lot of times the nursing schools don't want to take the chance of letting you try because it'll mess with their NCLEX pass scores, right? So if you get all the way through and fail your NCLEX, you might not even be given the chance to sit for NCLEX. So that's why it's important to ask them, if they have exit exams and what their exit exam policy is. Are you allowed to retake it? Do they provide remediation if you fail? Do you have to sit out an entire year and retake classes, or can you just take the exit exam again? So these are the kind of things you want to know what their policies are. Now, another way you can kind of get at that is you can ask them, what is the average size of, like, starting size of their class? You know, how many students do they accept that actually start the first day of class? And how many students go to sit NCLEX at the end of their program? So, again, for example, if you have 100 students starting and you only have 10 students taking NCLEX, that's a good sign that something's wrong with this program. If you have 100 students starting and you have 89 students taking NCLEX, that's a pretty strong program, probably, because some people are going to drop out just for personal reasons too. So that's definitely a good thing to talk. Second category of things I recommend you ask about is the cost of the program, the length of the program, and the accreditation. These can vary widely, but depending on the program type, depending on what city you live in, and depending on what type of program, like an ADN versus a BSN versus an accelerated. But one thing in particular you might not know to ask about is the accreditation. And I'll tell you a story about something that happened to me back when I was looking into nursing schools. I worked for a community college in my area, and I was taking my prereqs there, but that's not where I was going to go to nursing school at. However, we would get a lot of phone calls. I worked in the call center. And so I'd get a lot of phone calls from people asking about the nursing program at that community college. And they would ask, is it accredited? How does it compare to this other popular for-profit school that's in the area that's like 3 times as expensive, but I can get it done a lot faster and it's easier to get in. So one day, because I'm curious, that's probably why I became a tutor, I called this for-profit school and pretended to be a student to ask them what their accreditation was because I could not figure it out from their website, which is a red flag. And so I asked the person on the call, pretending to be a student who was applying, are you accredited? Is your nursing school accredited? And his answer was, well, what accreditation are you looking for us to be accredited with? Like, way to twist that around, right? And I was like, I don't know. Are you accredited? And now I knew which accreditations I was looking for, but he said, yes, we are accredited. And he went on to tell me the accreditation they had for issuing associate's degrees. Okay. However, I knew from my own research that the accreditation for an associate degree is different than the accreditation that's specific for nursing school, because there are specific bodies that accredit a nursing school for nursing, and there's a different body that can accredit a degree program for a degree. Okay, but just because you have a degree program doesn't mean it's accredited for nursing. And a lot of hospitals won't accept a nursing degree that's not been accredited by one of the nursing bodies. So, and I've been suspecting, and this confirmed it, that this particular for-profit school that charged an arm and a leg was not accredited by one of those formal nursing bodies. So, important question to ask. Make sure the accreditations are what you want them to be, and that you are getting the most bang for your buck with the nursing program in your area. Third thing that you want to ask about when choosing a nursing school is, what are their failure policies? Okay, you never want to think this is going to happen to you, but you never know. I mean, who predicted COVID, right? And yet that turned nursing school upside down for so many students. And it went from in-person classes to online classes. A lot of nursing students failed or had trouble passing, more difficulties just because of that. And that was completely out of their control. So you always want to know what the failure policies are. Okay, is it a 1 strike and you're out? Is it you have 2 chances to take the class? Is it you can keep taking it as long as you're going to pay us? Or and what kind of help do they offer if you do fail? Is there remediation? Do they have tutoring services available? And what recourse do you have if if you do fail a couple of times? And let's see, what was the other thing I was thinking? Oh, dosage calculations. So you may not even know this, but almost every nursing school has a dosage calculation test. Some schools do them every single semester. Some have a course of dosage calculations. Some just have one big dosage calculation that you take once during your program. But whatever the policy is, they almost all say you have to get a certain score on this dosage calculation exam. Otherwise, you cannot continue in the program. So that's just another wicket that they have that could cause you to fail, especially if you have math anxiety, which a lot of nursing students and people in general have. So that's definitely something that you want to ask about, because while we don't think it'll happen to us, we never know. Life happens, right? Things happen. Now, if you want a little insurance policy against failure, then that's one of the reasons that I have a VIP tutoring membership available with Your Nursing Tutor, because I come alongside you as a nursing student and I help you be proactive to prevent those failures from occurring. I can teach you how to do dosage calculations confidently in using my 6-step method that'll make sure you never get them wrong again, so they're always free points on your exams. I can help you with test anxiety, basically wipe it out of your life so that every exam is an accurate reflection of what you actually know and it's not clouded by all the crazy anxiety. And I can teach you a system, an easy 4-step system to study your nursing material so that you don't have to be dependent on your professors. You don't have to be dependent on YouTube videos. You don't even have to be dependent on me to spoon feed you the information that you need to know to be successful in nursing school and learn how to think like a nurse. So if that sounds good to you, then I would love for you to check out more information at yournursingtutor.com/VIP.